I have 3 children and 4 mokopuna, and I'm really blessed to have my children and my mokopuna living here in Tauranga Moana. Moved here 6 years ago to do some study, and have made this our home. After I had the accident in 1987, my marriage broke up. I broke my neck, had 2 vertebrae, and my children were 6, 8 and 9 at the time. I brought the children up, have always just been there with them and for them all these years. Heard of Robin before I got to meet Robin. The sounds that accompany that were sounds of relief from my daughter-in-law, sounds of hope that weren't presently there before, because when I heard of Robin I was actually in hospital undergoing major surgery. My daughter-in-law and their little whānau were struggling to be heard, to get some help for their children. Then through Te Manatorua, they were introduced to Robin. It's a godsend for me, Whanau Ora. I'm not playing this up or saying something that isn't real in our lives. Whanau Ora I almost stumbled over it. I was desperately searching for some way to help my son and my daughter-in-law and my 2 grandchildren, just accessing services that are out there that I knew about and were doing the mahi. Even though I had accessed those services for my whānau, they just weren't working. And if anything, my daughter-in-law was almost like pushing them aside because she knew they weren't working. And so out of desperation I was like, where are we going to go? What is the answer, I thought there has to be some Māori services out there. There must be an alternative to what we're receiving now. So then I started asking questions. Then I went through my doctors, and I'm with the Tauranga Moana, and then they referred me to Te Manatorua, and then from there I was then put on to a tamariki ora nurse. Came out straight away and rallied around us immediately. Yeah, meeting a need. So that was, Robin started to do that. She started to interact and be there and suggest things for my daughter-in-law, and it was giving her hope. And it's one thing with Whanau Ora, that what's happened is that Whanau Ora's really said, you can dream, you can do what you really want to do. Let's help you get there. I mean that now. This became very, very evident with my daughter Nancy when she has 2 children, and Samson is 17 months old and Honey Angel is 7 months old. Now that's very close. When Honey Angel came along, she didn't realise just how difficult it was going to be. So I would often get phone calls from my daughter, Mum, Mum, and I could hear them in the background. And it distressed me, because how can anyone stay in a situation with 2 children crying all the time and not feel like you're going to pull your hair out or something's... I was totally, at that very moment, I needed to get some help in. And we'd already journeyed this way with Te Manatorua and heard about Whanau Ora, and by this time we had Robin, and she'd proven to be there, definitely there for mercy. I thought, surely we can do this again. We can do this for Nance. But she's out of zone because she was in Papamoa. Mercy was on this side with us, and so does a zone stop you from accessing services? And the moment I rang up, of course it did not with Whanau Ora. It wasn't about zoning, it was about people, it was about our whānau. It was just expected that she would take on services from Plunket, and no choice was actually given. Nancy was finding that she didn't relate well in that situation. Nancy's been brought up rural Māori. She's a quiet, shy girl, asking lots and lots and lots and lots of questions, and she found that was the process that was being used, and she closed down, and so she couldn't open up her heart to say, I'm really struggling. So every time that the nurse came, she'd say, yes, I'm okay, we're okay. But then once they were gone, she would feel like just the whole weight of the world would come back down on her. But then when I contacted the Tamariki Ora nurse, told them the situation, within just 2 days they had somebody there to come alongside Nancy. Now, it wasn't even to say, you know, here we are, we're a service, we're going to give you this and that. It was just, you know, what can we do? How can we help? You know, just get mum to ring up to Plunket if you like, if you find it, because she was too stressed to do it herself. This Tamariki Ora nurse then just came into our lives and sat down with us at the table, not just Nancy, but invited all the whānau to be anyone to come, and we sat down and told us what Whanau Ora had to offer, looking at how things can be improved and looking at some funding and let's look at your goals. And this wasn't from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The Tamariki Ora nurse came in the evening when everyone had come home from work and the kids had been, you know, they were settled, and the right time where we could all just relax and sit down and just talk. And then the kids mapped out their goals, what their dreams are, the things they needed, and that's the process that they're in now. Nancy knew that she needed her licence, she needs to get out there and drive. So Whanau Ora is helping her to get her licence. She needs some parenting skills, some daycare, some home-based daycare. That's all in place now. My daughter is from ringing me up sometimes 12 times a day to say mum, or me hopping in my modified vehicle to shoot over to Papamoa and pick her up and bring her back here every day to make sure her and the kids, just to give her a hand. That's the difference. She's now moved here into this area. She's closer to us. She baby Simpsons in daycare with a Māori organisation, Tutu, and she's come back to work for me. Well, I already work, but I would love to take on some more, because I've done part-time mainly because I've been here for my children. I would like to complete some of my studies. And yeah, have a holiday. Go somewhere for a holiday.